Namo Arahantanang, Namo Siddhanang, Namo Ayeriyanang, Namo Uvajjayanam, Namo Loe Savvasahunam, Eso Panchanamukkaro, Savvapavapanasano, Mangalanancha Savvesim, Padamang Havai Mangalam.
Dhanyavad, Samniji. So now we will start our meeting. As you know, today we are having a lecture by Dr. Ratnakumar Shah, and it is on zero, and he will explain all the things. But before that, I shall like to give a brief introduction of Dr. Ratnakumar ji. Dr. Ratnakumar Shah, after completing MA in Applied Mathematics from Pune University, served as lecturer in mathematics and astronomy at Ferguson College, Pune. Later, he joined Life Insurance Corporation of India, from where he retired as executive director in 1995. He has authored books on insurance, statistics, dynamics, quantitative techniques, etc. After working as consultant in private insurers up to 2007, he undertook studies in Jaina mathematics, and so far he has in his credit over 19 research papers, either published in national and international journal or presented at international conferences. He has recently completed a research project on karma mathematics sponsored by Kundakund Gyanpeeth, Indore, and almost completed editing it and translating in English of 2 agamic works and on behalf of Jain Vishwabharati Ladnu, Rajasthan. Further, he is editing and translating the ancient agamic work. So with this brief introduction, I request Dr. Ratnakumar ji Shah Sahab to deliver your lecture, please. Dr. Ratnakumar ji, please.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yes, yes.
I'm audible. Yeah. Thank you, sir, for your introduction and kind words. And my respectful greetings to all the scholars who are assembled here online. As my topic today is zero in Jaina scriptures. It is almost accepted that by all the mathematicians, almost all the mathematicians world, that the origin of zero having place value is from India. However, there is a great mystery as to who invented this zero, and also about the concept of zero and it having place value. There are various theories, and in some other cultures also there was a place value of zero, but it was very ambiguous. But the clear-cut system which our Indians have originated is from India. But my topic today is what I want to emphasize, that although the name of the person or the mathematician who invented this concept of zero is not available, but there is a strong evidence which shows that it must be, or it is from the Jaina sources, our agamic works and also other scriptures by the later acharyas. Yeah. The earliest references are in Acharang, which is regarded as the oldest scripture in the amongst the Jainas. Also in Bhagavati, I have not mentioned here Acharanga because that time the reference, full reference was not available to me. But now I have confirmed that Acharanga also has this concept of zero. But earlier, the word shunna, or shunya in Sanskrit meant actually empty. Now, Acharanga and Bhagavati, they describe Mahavir Swami's penances during the 13 years before Kevala Gyan. And there, it has clearly mentioned at many places that he used to stay in either chaityas or some gardens or what they say, sunnagar. That means the unoccupied houses, desolated houses. And that's why the sunna word or shunya word was earlier, it meant empty or vacant. But from this, the word shunya has come, and this is the beginning of the etymology of the word shunya. In Tithagoliya and Kashai Pahud, the word is coined just like in a binary system. That means if it is yes, 0, if it is no, it is 1. Like that, it is coined. And for example, in Tithagoliya, they were discussing that whether there were contemporary Chakravartis in the times of Tirthankara. Normally there were, but there were some omissions also. So they have called those as Sunnatthana. That means with this Tirthankara, there was no Chakravarti, a contemporary Chakravarti. Similarly, in Kashai Pahud, while discussing, they were saying that they are applicable. If they are applicable, then it is yes. And if they are not applicable, it is a Sunnatthana, 0 in various areas. Now, next strong evidence comes from Anuyogdwar Sutra, which was definitely revised in 380 in the second simultaneously at Mathura and at two places, it was Vallabhi. These two places it was held, and then the third conference was in 450 AD at Vallabhi under Now there, the Anuyogdwar Sutra in Sutra 490, it discusses the minimum number of Avdarik Sharir. That means in short, the minimum human population in the human world, which consists of 2.5 islands and seas, actually. So while discussing that, the minimum number, they have said, they have made 6 very specific statements, and one by one. First, they say this number is Sankhya Koda Kodi. Sankhya Koda, this Sankhya is also, as will come afterward. The Sankhya is also of order of minimum human population at any time will be 10 raised to 28 zeros. Then second statement, step by step they are going. They say it is a number which is greater than T Yamalapaya. Yamalapaya means 8 digits. T Yamalapaya means 24 digits. So this number is greater than 24 digits, but less than 32 digits. Chau Yamalapaya. And then again they have become specific, and they say that it is a number with 29 digits. Now they have very specified, it is 29 digits. Then a very strange thing, but I'm not covering that today in my lecture. but they also say that it is the product of fifth successive square of 2 and sixth successive square of 2. Now, first square of 2 is 2 into 2, 4. Second square is 4 into 4, 16. Like that, it goes up. Sixth successive square of, that is 2 raised to 64. Now, again, they make a specific statement that it can be halved 96 times. Now, this is obvious because when the population is 2 raised to 96, it can be halved 96 times. And now, this calculation is not given anywhere in Anuyogdhar Sutra. There is a 0 in the thousands place. So that's why I'm treating this as an indirect proof. They know there are 29 places, and the word used by them is very specific. They say 29 Thanaim, that means 29 places. So naturally, they must have noticed that there is nothing in the thousands place. So whether that time there is a symbol or not, we for 0, we don't know. But we'll just come to that also immediately. Now, next comes almost contemporary with the Vallabhi conference, this Loka Vibhag of Sarvanandi of 458 AD. It has given the diameters of Jambudvip, then Lavan Samudra, Dharki Khand, Kalod, etc., etc. And in that, they have mentioned also that the 18th serial was the Arunvar Samudra, and its diameter is the digits were read from right to left. You just see from right to left, 5 zeros, 2, 7, sky. Normally in the poetry, just for poetic considerations, they were using some words for 0. Sometimes sky, sometimes for 1 they used to say rupam, etc. So such words were used for only poetic consideration for the construction of the verse. So then 5 zeros, 2, 7, sky, 1, 3, face, again rupam. That is 1, in that order. And they very clearly say in that order. That means they were giving the place values correctly. Now, this was in the 5th century, the Loka Vibhag. Now, the next in turn comes Brihat Kshetra Samas of Jinvadragani Kshamastarman of 6th and 7th century AD. They say Jinvadra lived for 105 years, so he spanned both the centuries, 6th and 7th century, isn't it? And there he has given a lot of calculation. And in Loka Vibhag also, there are a lot of such calculations where reading from right to left, the digit wise is given. Similarly, Brihat Kshetra Samas also, there are at least 50 such calculations where the numbers were read, but sometimes they were read from left to right. Generally, they were read from left to right. So this transition of reading the numbers from right to left, from left to right, came probably in the 6th and 7th century. So there they say that the Vijayardha Parvat or Vayadhya mountain is called, that means its span, the square of that is given as 4149009750. And how he writes it, kalas, in the units of kalas he has given, and 1 yojan is equal to 119 kala. Now, this, how he reads this, just see. First he takes 97,500, he says. Then and 49 crores and 4,100 crores, like this. That means here he has given as per the place value concept. But immediately in the next verse, Gatha 69, he says, square of chord of North Bharatvarsha. That means after Veda Parvat, there is a North Bharatvarsha. And his north chord means south chord of Himwan Parvat. That is 756 followed by 8 zeros. And then it clearly says, he reads it as 775, 6 and 8 zeros. So, there are many such examples in this, and even very long calculations, very bigger numbers with that, and he tackles them very, very nicely. Now, this is one important thing. I had pondered over this for a long time, and I was really surprised that how such accurate calculations were given by in our majority of Angas. Many Angas and Angas give the circumference of Jambudvip, and obviously Lok Vibhag and Jaina works also. So they give that the Jambudvip diameter is 1 lakh yojan, and its perimeter circumference is 316,227 yojan, 3 kosa, 128 danda, and 13.5 angur. If by proper units they are, we calculate this, and if we divide it by 1 lakh to get the value of pi, it comes 3.16227660,175. I have deliberately given this, and then if we see that actually it is the value of root 10. So Jainas always assume that pi is equal to root 10. And that's why it is almost accepted by all that root 10 is the Jaina value of pi. It is not very accurate, I say, but even then, the root 10 calculated to such great accuracy is itself a very wonderful thing. It is correct the 9 decimal places they have calculated. And then how they have calculated this value, you can see that the circumference is 1 root 10 into 1,000, 1 lakh. So 1 lakh, when brought under the radical sign, it becomes 10 raised to 10 and root 10. So it is 1 followed by 11 zeros, and our Angas give the square root of 1 followed by 11 zeros so accurately. So accurately. Now, I don't want to go into details. I have written some articles in which I have given the detail and how it was calculated, etc. Next. Now, this is one very good proof of that at time of Jainabhadra, the zero was very clearly adopted. The method of calculation of square root was just like our current modern method. He is extracting the square root of 58545048,750, such a big number, and that he gives as 241960, then 40175 upon 48392. To that level he goes, and this is possible only if by the modern method of extracting the square root. So at least we must say that if we take also that agamas were revised last in 450 AD, so at least at that time this method was prevalent, and that's why they could calculate to such a great and correct extent. Now, I am coming to one very wonderful book, Universal History of Numbers, written by Georges Effra. He is a French historian of mathematics, and he has written a very big volume, about 800 pages. where he gives the history of numbers and zero. And remember, friend, for that he left his lecturership and went to various countries, to Peru for Incas, Mexico for Maya culture, study of Maya culture, and he came to India also. And that time he visited Solapur, where Lok Vibhag was published first. And then he verified the manuscripts also, and there he was convinced that yes, zero has come from India, and it is specifically, very clearly, zero is stated in different place values also, like that, actually. So, and in that book, he has also mentioned that there is one very wonderful proof, although it is of 7th century, it says that first epigraphic evidence, you know, the Chola kings of South India, they had an empire. They had a very big armada, a fleet, and they conquered up to Indonesia, Cambodia, Vietnam, etc., all these countries. And lot of relics are there, and they have found some many Tamrapatra, that means copper plates, where dates were given, where they are given in their era dates of 605, 605, two copper plates of 605, one of 606 and one of 608 of the Chola era. But they have given it in numerals, and zero is very clearly mentioned, and zero is just like our zero. It is almost like our zero, the same symbol. So here, as far as is concerned, definitely it was very much common at that time. So we may take it that it was also, the symbol was also invented at the time of our revision of Agmar. Definitely, at the most, at the time of, maybe earlier also, maybe in 300 AD when the second revision took place. But even otherwise, we may take as the last date about 5th century, beginning of 5th century, or if we take the second revision in 300 AD, then it is beginning of 4th century. Now, there is an indirect proof, but very, very strong proof in Anuyogdwar Sutra. Now, some say Anuyogdwar Sutra was before our Christian era. It was written. Some say it was written at just before the 1 or 2 centuries, or before 300, before 300 AD of the second revision. Many say. So there they are giving a time scale, and that time scale goes from Samaya to Avali, Avali to Muhurta, Muhurta day, then month, then year, etc. And it goes up to 84 lakh years, which is called Purvanga. And then if it is multiplied by 84 lakh subsequently, the unit change from 1 year to 84 lakh years. And the last measure, temporal measure or time scale, is to the extent of 84 lakh to the power of 28. That means 84 lakh, written 28 times and multiplied. Such a very big number. Of course, Anuyogdwar Sutra has not given this number, and I don't think also at that time it was possible. But I'm sure that Jinnabhadra of 6th and 7th century had given so many calculations of very, very big numbers. For example, the number of stars in the universe, and etc. So he must have been capable of doing that, but he did not find it necessary because there was no purpose for him to go into that. It was only Abhaydev of 11th century, in his commentary on Thanang, he gives all the 194 digits of this colossal number, this gargantuan number, that is 758, etc., up to 6, followed by 140 zeros. Such a big number he was able to calculate. And all the numbers are given here. So, this strongly suggests that the concept of zero with place value and its symbol might have originated from beginning of 4th century. That is the earliest date I take, or at least beginning of the 5th century. But for anything to evolve, it takes about 100 to 200 years. So even Wikipedia has accepted that 3rd century, the invention of zero and it having place value must have been there. Now, after I prepared these PowerPoints, I came across a very nice article in Wikipedia where there is one more manuscript, very famous manuscript called Bakshali manuscript, found in a Bakshali village in Pakistan-Afghanistan border, in a very dilapidated stage. And many mathematicians say it is generally a work of some Jaina mathematician. But there is a lot of controversy on that. But many mathematicians say it is as old as 4th century. Some say it was 8th century, 9th century also. And some were saying it is a fake document, etc. But now recently, as per Wikipedia, the carbon dating was carried out. And in that carbon dating, it was found that some pages are of the 3rd century and some pages are of 4th century. 4th century. Why this also difference? It is because maybe some pages were soiled, and that's why they replaced it in 4th century. So that's why it has come up to, and some pages were also of the later centuries also. But the earliest is of 3rd century, pages of 3rd century. So this also very clearly says that at least we can put the date of invention of zero from Jaina sources in the beginning of 3rd century. I think I finished my presentation. Now, if there are any questions, I'll try to.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ratnakumar ji. Nice, your presentation was very informative. And today we have with us Dr. Anupam Jain, and he has also published one of the article in this Arat Vachan. He also mentioned some of our text of 2nd century and so. So I will request Dr. Anupam ji to give your opinion, and if you want to add something, please add. Then we will take a question from Dr. L.C. Jain sahab. Dr. Anupam Jain ji.